Many games have had broken characters, but none quite like this. The year is 2018 and Overwatch is in its golden age. Overwatch was a game full of possibilities. By March, we already had a lot to look forward to. The new Archives event was coming, and the World Cup just a few months later. Fans watched at the edge of their seat, wondering if Team USA, led by the Dallas Fuel, rivaled against Team Canada, who was led by Arrow's assistant coach and popular streamer Jane, with main tank XQC and Surefour on DPS. We all expected Team Korea to take first place, with a seriously stacked roster. I mean, half of their team are from NYXL, the team that dominated the inaugural season of the Overwatch League. Second place, at least, still looked up for grabs. But maybe that's a story for another time. The current long-standing meta was a dive variant led by Mercy. Its dominance surely grew tiresome over time, but that's every meta, right? The survivability of supports was a contentious issue, with players feeling like the entire enemy team was always out to get them. Little did we know, Blizzard was cooking up a solution to this dive meta problem that we had for so long. Jeff Kaplan, almost with a big smile on his face, was confident that the new hero in Overwatch would break the meta.
Team's actually working overtime on the hero right now, and they're working really hard, but I think everybody's going to be really excited. I think it will be meta changing. I will go ahead and say that.
It took the player base a little bit of time before they mastered the AoE effects and raw stat potential of the brawling tank support DPS hybrid character that became the destroyer of worlds we know as Brigitte. And once they did, the game was never the same. At her immediate launch, players were still relatively unconvinced. 2 months after her launch date, Brig was seeing little major use from the pros, but one team, not even in the Overwatch League, was about to change the course of history. May 29th began the Beat Invitational, where a team named Goats was being looked at with wide eyes after they just came off a huge win in Open Division, only dropping a single match to Envision, who they 3-0'd the very next day on a comp centered around Brigitte. Players and fans alike assumed the comp to be cheese at best and was only working on lower tier teams, until they made it to the grand finals. Analysts and fans thought it was a joke. How could NRG, one of the best non-Overwatch League teams at the time, lose to Goats? The gameplay looked sloppy. It looked like quick play, like they were throwing. Despite that result, many were still skeptical at the ultimate power of this team composition. But shortly after this destruction, more teams gradually caught on just to how ridiculous Brigitte actually was. The years that came after had many different iterations of the Goats comp, subbing out almost every hero in it. Moira for Ana, Ana for Zen, Zen for Mercy? The list goes on, but the only hero that stayed consistent every time was Brigitte Lindholm because of her incredible AoE healing, personal survivability, stun, crowd control, ultimate, one-hit kill combo potential. It's a long list.
Hit him! What the fuck, dude?
The only other consistent hero was Lucio, but speed boost is a whole nother discussion.
Why are you so angry?
But as with all broken things in esports, Brigitte would eventually see the side of the nerf hammer, and then would see it again, and again, and again, and again, and again. But the pros kept playing her. She was in every ranked game. Over the years, Brig didn't just see a few nerfs, she saw 18.
Nothing's working!
This comp was so broken that the devs literally made it so you had to play 2 tanks, 2 DPS, and 2 supports just to stop people from playing it. Brigitte was so strong that they had to change the entire game structure around her to stop her.
It didn't work.
Brigitte Lindholm's reign of terror on the open queue format lasted 480 days until they instituted roll queue. So much for it being a live service game, am I right? And that catches us up to the current day where, although a shell of her former self, Brig is still seen as a very strong pick. Esports has had many broken heroes in its day, whether it's Meta Knight, Freddy Krueger, or Leroy, but most other games have a way to ban broken heroes or have fast nerfs to bring them in line. Brig in Overwatch was the gift that kept on giving, and you just sort of had to accept it. Let us know who you think was the most broken character in esports history. We can cover them in an upcoming video. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave it a like, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when the new videos for Overwatch Archives come out.
Because of the armor buildup and the passive healing. So keep this in mind if it's like overtime.
Y'all think I was joking, dude?